So a friend and I were discussing horror movies, as you do, and my friend asks, who's your favorite vampire from movies or television? And I thought about it for a minute and I said, well, there's a lot of good ones, but I'm going to have to go with the one from Sesame Street. My friend looked at me like I'd grown a second head. He says, he doesn't count. And I said, I assure you, he does. Well, I've just received the May 2022 horror packs, the DVD horror pack and the Blu-ray horror pack from the fine folks over at the HorrorPack company. As is my way, I'm going to go ahead and open those up. Before I get to that, just a little bit of bookkeeping. I want to remind you, as always, please do like this video, subscribe, ring the notification bell, share with your friends, all that kind of stuff. Helps me out, helps me to build a larger audience so I can keep doing this. I also want to point you over to doyoulikescarymovies.com, where you'll find a new podcast. I am the co-host of said podcast, and we're interviewing spooky kinds of horror people. So if you like this channel, you're probably going to like that, so go check that out. I am also now part of the Rocky Mountain Paranormal Research Society, or Rocky Mountain Paranormal, and things in that department are also starting to ramp up. In fact, I'm just back from giving a talk, one of our lectures at a middle school, which was a lot of fun. We've got a lot of interesting new things going there, so be sure to check us out at RockyMountainParanormal.com if you're interested in the paranormal investigation side of things. And I'm sure you're going to be seeing more Rocky Mountain Paranormal kinds of things on this channel from time to time as well. But since it's been a little bit of a long day for me, I want to go ahead and get right to it, opening up these boxes. As I always do here on this channel, once every month I'm going to open up both the DVD and Blu-ray HorrorPacks. I get both of them, and I'm opening them up, as you can see, for the first time, so I don't know what's inside. If I've seen the movies, I'll offer some thoughts. If I have not seen them, I will offer, I suppose, some preliminary thoughts, and you can take that with as much salt as you want. In any case, here are the two packs, so let's go ahead and see what's inside, shall we? When I do these videos, I always like to start with the DVD horror pack. That's this one, so let's go ahead and see what's inside. There should be 4 DVDs, and I can see that there are. The first of those is a film called The Call. The cover says that this is from the creator of Final Destination, starring Lin Shaye, Tobin Bell, and Chester Rushing, so impressively cast. It's not a film that I'm familiar with, although I do know the cast members, of course. Let me read the description to you. The back says, 4 friends, 1 phone call, 60 seconds, stay alive. From the creator of Final Destination, Lin Shaye and Tobin Bell star in this terrifying tale of death from the fall of 1987. After a tragic accident, a group of small-town friends must survive the night in the home of a sinister couple. One by one, their worst nightmares quickly become reality as they enter the realm of The Call. So this is a sort of subgenre we all know and love. We've got some creepy people and a bunch of innocent people trapped in their house, and I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to do, but it doesn't sound very good. Impressively cast, so seems promising. I'm looking forward to trying The Call. Like I said, I haven't seen it, so a worthy addition to my collection. Next up we have a film called Behind You. It says it's from the producer of The Gallows. This is another one that I haven't seen, but the description on the back says, a demonic entity summons young Claire to release it from the hidden mirrors in her estranged aunt's home. Olivia must now defeat the malicious entity that has possessed her sister and escape the clutches of their deranged aunt before it is too late. So we've got a demonic possession story. I always like those. That's a well-explored subgenre, but even though it's well-explored, there are frequently some new and interesting little twists that a lot of movies and books have offered. So I'm looking forward to trying Behind You as well. Next up from the May 2022 DVD pack, we have a film called The Dawn. Judging by the cover, this looks like it might be another demonic possession sort of story. We've got a creepy nun with sort of half normal, half horror makeup. Let's see if I'm guessing correctly. Again, I'm guessing. This is not a film I've seen like the others. The description says, "A man haunted by recurring nightmares murders his family at the insistence of mysterious voices. The only survivor is his eldest daughter Rose, who is sent to live in a convent. Plagued by strange nightmares and memories of events that haven't happened, Rose comes to understand that the same demons which terrorized her father have come with her to the convent." So it does seem like a demonic possession combined with some family drama or family horror or maybe ancestral guilt of some kind. Some interesting dynamics there. Should be another good watch. Haven't seen it. Looks pretty good though. I always like I said, I always like a good demonic possession story, so looking forward to trying The Dawn as well. And finally, from the DVD pack, we have a film called Inheritance. This one says it features Lily Collins and Simon Pegg. I'm a little bit surprised that I haven't heard of this one, because I usually follow Simon Pegg's work fairly closely. He always does fairly good work. But, as I said, this is not one that I'm familiar with, so we're 4 for 4 in terms of new things for me. The description says, Lauren Monroe is a rising young New York City district attorney and the successful daughter of a powerful family. When her father suddenly dies, he leaves her a set of keys to an unknown bomb shelter on their estate. There she discovers a secret buried so deep that not even her mother knows about it. Entrapped in a web of lies and manipulation, what she uncovers may rip apart the fabric of her family dynasty and threaten her life and all those around her. That sounds like a pretty good story. I'm not actually sure, based on the description, whether this is some kind of supernatural horror story and she finds something supernatural down in this bomb shelter, or whether this is more of an entirely natural, human-based thriller where maybe her father was tied up in something that he oughtn't, and those are the secrets that are threatening her family. I'm going to have to watch it to find out. Either way, it promises to be an intriguing film. That's Inheritance. Well, we seem to be moving through these a little bit faster than usual. I think I'm just tired from all the other things that I have going on, and I'm maybe not saying quite as much about each film, and therefore moving a little bit faster. But nevertheless, we find ourselves at the midway point and moving on to the Blu-ray HorrorPack. First up out of said Blu-ray pack is a film called Itsy Bitsy. This is one that I have heard of but have not seen. It's some kind of a spider-based horror movie, as you could probably guess from the title. Let me read the description for you and we'll learn a little bit more about it. A single mother, Kara, moves from New York to the quiet countryside with her 2 children for a job opportunity she can't afford to turn down. The family moves into their humble new guest house where her teenage son, Jesse, begins the unhappy task of looking after his little sister, Cambria. Kara begins her work as a private nurse to Walter, a man stricken with multiple sclerosis and an appraiser of rare antiquities. But Walter's secret past soon invites doom and terror. Jesse discovers a mysterious relic of ancient origin that had been brought to the household by Ankiba, a shabby international associate of Walter's. I'm not 100% sure if I pronounced that name correctly, but we'll move on. All too quickly, they discover that the relic contains more than just legends and myths. Inside waits a terrifying creature born of ancient darkness and pure instinct. A prehistoric cave spider unlike anything the modern world has ever seen. This sounds quite a lot like that movie Arachnophobia. I'm the sort of weirdo who grew up with that as my favorite movie when I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And it's still a good movie. I watched it recently. I rewatched it recently and it holds up. This one sounds like it deals with a lot of similar ideas, although with maybe some more of a supernatural or quasi-supernatural layer on top of it. Maybe sort of a modern take on the genre. I like spiders. They're real animals and horror movies about spiders. In the real world, I figure spiders are our friends because they eat the things that are really going to annoy us, and we really don't need to worry about the vast majority of spiders. They are not particularly inclined to bite, and even if they do, the vast majority of them are harmless. In fact, here in the United States, there's only a couple of species we need to worry about at all. Black widows, brown recluse, and the hobo spider, and in my particular region, only one of those is native. So what I'm really saying is, we don't actually need to be all that afraid of spiders. But they still make really good horror movie monsters for some strange reason. So, I'm really looking forward to trying Itsy Bitsy. You really can't go wrong with spider horror, so it should be a fun watch. Next, we have a film called American Mummy. This is another one that I'm unfamiliar with, although Lord knows I've seen 1.5 million mummy movies. The description on this one says, a group of university students in the New Mexico desert unearth an ancient mummy, on which one of the students performs a secret primeval blood ritual. This awakens the death-hungry spirit of the Aztec lord Tezcatlipoca, intent on finishing his centuries-old reign of terror. Soon the mummy's curse possesses the students' souls, turning them against each other in a bid to spread his evil to the entire world. It's basically the same as every other mummy movie. Some archaeologists or other people digging unearth said mummy, perform some kind of ritual, or awaken some kind of curse. The mummy comes to life and tries to kill everyone. It's a movie we've seen 1 million times before. I don't expect this one necessarily to give us much in the way of originality, although it is interesting that it's set in the United States, in New Mexico, rather than in Egypt, where they're usually set, so maybe that's a sort of original touch. I do also notice that this says it includes both the 3D and 2D versions of the film on Blu-ray, as well as a DVD copy, so maybe there's some 3D elements that add some originality to the film. As always, I'm looking forward to trying it. Over the years, I got maybe a little bit burned out on mummy movies, but it's been a while since I've seen one, so maybe it's time for sort of a resurgence of this particular subgenre. As with the others, looking forward to trying American Mummy. Next up, we have a film called The Lesson. The little tagline here says, "You're going to learn even if it kills you." This is I think I may have seen a poster or something for this one. The cover looks a little bit familiar and the title sounds a little bit familiar, but I know I haven't seen it and I don't in fact know anything about it, so I'll read the description. Which says, Finn, a lone teen from a broken family, gets caught up in the wrong crowd of delinquent kids in this chilling horror film filled with white-knuckle suspense. When Finn and his friend Joel act up in class, their English teacher decides to teach them a lesson they will never forget. First-time feature helmer Ruth Platt comes out swinging as an intelligent directorial force with this debut, according to Dread Central, that ramps up the tension dramatically and results in a solid horror coming-of-age film, according to Bloody Disgusting. So we've got an evil teacher, or a teacher that snaps, or it seems like teacher doing bad thing to delinquent students. And having worked informally in education, let's just say I have a feeling this one's going to be right up my alley. So looking forward to trying this one as well. And finally, every month in the Blu-ray HorrorPack, one of the films is a HorrorPack exclusive. It's maybe the film's first time on Blu-ray, or it's a limited edition that has some extra features or a different cover or something that makes it exclusive to HorrorPack. In this case, the exclusive is a film called The Last Compartment. The spine tells us that this is the 71st HorrorPack exclusive. Again, this is not a film that I'm familiar with. I'm usually not familiar with these exclusives, but I have to say they usually add a lot of value to the pack. They're usually good to great. So let's read the description on this one. This one says, after their train is hit by an avalanche in the Alps, Greta and 5 strangers find themselves trapped in the last car of the train, buried underneath the snow. That's kind of a scary setup already, just being trapped by an avalanche under the snow. That's one of those buried alive kinds of things that gives everyone kind of a little bit of the heebie-jeebies. Continuing on, over the radio they learn that a rescue operation is underway, but for some reason the last compartment seems to have disappeared. Okay, I was getting some good news and then quick left turn into more bad news. And finally it says, lost in the snow and with time running out, Greta must figure out who she can trust if she wants to survive. I really like the setting that's described for this film. That alone gives it a real tension and, like I said, some heebie-jeebies. Beyond that, I don't really know anything about the last compartment. It sounds like there may be some supernatural stuff going on, as well as the avalanche. That's really all I can guess about it, but it certainly sounds intriguing, and I am certainly looking forward to it at least as much as I am all 8 of these films. And there we have it. 8 wonderful new horror films for me to watch, probably beginning this evening. If this is your first time on this channel, or your first time watching these HorrorPack videos, first of all, welcome. And I will point out that I will actually be reviewing these. Every 6 months I do a mass review where I quickly go through and talk about what I did and didn't like out of all 6 months worth of horror packs. So if you're curious to hear my thoughts after I watch these, make sure you subscribe and stick around, and I will be doing that shortly. Beyond that, as I alluded to at the beginning, there's a lot of exciting things happening in terms of podcasts and paranormal investigations and here on this channel, so make sure you stick around. You won't want to miss any of the wonderful stuff I have planned. With that all having been said, I'm going to sign off and go start watching some horror movies. So until next time, as always, take care and stay scared.